thanks to all of our founders who are here.
Good morning. If you're with us this Sunday morning on Facebook Live or any other streaming platform, good morning to you as well. If you are watching a recording of this service at any other time, greetings. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist of Transylvania County. I am Ginny Rush and serve on our worship team, and I'm glad to welcome you today. Here are some highlights from our newsletter. You may read this in email for further details. Today, we're doing a trial run with a few invited folks in the room. This is in preparation for our planned opening on Sunday, June 20th at 9 and 11. Everyone, regardless of vaccination status, must wear a mask except for very young children, like babes in arms. The 9 o'clock service is available online. The fire circle on UUTC property will be a gathering place tonight from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. There will be marshmallows. Please note that the ground is bumpy. You may sit on a log, but that is limited, so it might be a good idea to bring a chair. Our outdoor Tuesday picnics continue, called Fellowship on the Green. It's for anyone who wishes to come with a lunch and sit and chat with others in a circle of tables between 11:30 a.m. and 1:30 p.m., weather permitting. You are welcome to bring your own chair to this also. Please sign up to volunteer at UUTC. Being open again means more effort to tend the building and grounds and folks to greet and help serve coffee. Thank you for... That is the end of our announcements. Thank you for joining us in this sacred place during these troubled times, or from the safety of your own home, in a community consecrated by our presence and our commitment. We are a welcoming and inclusive congregation. We invite your participation, whoever you are, without regard to your race, color, age, gender orientation, politics, or abilities. We require no creed or particular belief system, just that you bring your goodwill and your open heart. Our mission is to support individual spiritual journeys and to promote social, economic, and political justice, environmental justice as well. To any guests or newcomers we have watching today, thank you for taking the time to find us online and join us for worship. Our call to worship is Mockingbird, presented by Terry and Daniel Sandoval.
Yeah.
King,
Yeah.
bird,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
mockingbird. Now everybody,
have you heard?
have you heard?
He's gonna buy
He's
me
gonna
a
buy
mockingbird.
mockingbird.
And if that
If that
mockingbird
mockingbird won't sing,
he's gonna buy
he's
me
gonna
a
buy me
ring.
a diamond ring.
And if that
If that
diamond
diamond
ring
ring won't shine,
he's gonna
sure is
surely
gonna break this
heart
a
of
heart of mine.
And
That's a why, yes
I
indeed.
keep on
Oh,
telling
yes
everybody,
indeed.
say,
Yeah, yeah.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Hear me now and
now.
understand.
Understand.
He's gonna find
I'm gonna find us a peace of mind.
And if that
If that peace of mind
won't
won't stay,
I'm gonna find
I'm gonna find myself a better way.
And if that
If that better way ain't so, ride with the tide and go with the flow.
then that's
Why, yes indeed,
I keep on
oh
shouting
yes
in your
indeed,
ear,
oh,
say,
yeah, yeah.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa. Now everybody, have you heard?
Have you heard?
She's gonna buy me a mockingbird. Yeah, and if that mockingbird don't sing, she's gonna buy me a diamond ring. And if that diamond ring won't shine, yes, it surely break that poor heart of mine. And there's a reason why I keep on telling everybody, say, no, 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 no. Listen, all and understand. He's gonna find me some peace of mind. Yeah, and if that peace of mind won't stay, I'm gonna get myself a better way. I might rise above, I might go below. Ride with the tide and go with the flow. And there's a reason why I keep on shouting in your ear, babe. No, 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 baby. Mockingbird.
Thank you, Terry and Daniel. The opening words are from Reverend Gretchen Haley. Whatever beat is moving through your bones, whatever holy disturbance is rising in your chest, whatever good words you've got for the good of the whole, clap it, snap it, and bring it out. Call it out, take the beat, add to it, change it, make it yours, gathered here in this sweet beauty, this power. Bring all that you are and let it out. Let us not waste this time. Let us make a joyful noise, a more interesting sound, a fuller call, exploring who we are. A greater yes. Say it with me. Yes. Yes. Call out hello and amen and woo-hoo and yes. Sing for justice, sway in hope, play with purpose. This time is precious. You are precious, and all of us. This chance is a gift. This breath is a gift. Being all together is a gift. Let's celebrate, find a new rhythm, make a new march. For this longing, this dreaming, this discovery, for the urgent call of the day, for courageous love. Let it ring out. Come, let us worship together. We will now light our chalice, and I will read the words of Melanie Davis, who is the program manager for the Unitarian Universalist Association, Our Whole Lives Sexuality. Thank you, Melanie. Under the right circumstances, playing with fire is a delight. Imagine being gathered around a fire pit as the crackling flames invite us to sing, dance, and roast a marshmallow or two. The flame encourages us to explore who we are, who our neighbors are, and where we are on our spiritual journey. Today, we light the chalice in the spirit of play. Let us trust this light to guide us in this hour and in the days to come, finding joy along the way. Now comes the time in our service when we have a chance to share our joys and sorrows. We believe that joys are magnified, worries reduced, and grief eased by sharing them with this beloved community. I invite those who are watching this on Sunday morning to participate by typing any joys or sorrows you wish to share in the comments section of the streaming platform you are using. They will be included in the candle lighting. So, I light a candle for those whose work allows us to live our lives easier and safer. Those on the front lines who have been asked again and again to be a hero in health care, essential services, and education. May this light bring comfort to those who serve and also help keep them safe. I light a candle of gratitude for those who have committed themselves to stand on the side of justice, speaking out and taking action and advocating for those who have been denied their rights. I light a candle in recognition that June is LGBTQ Pride Month. I light a candle for those prayers lifted up in the chat box by those at home. We hold you in our hearts. This light is burning at UUTC for all these things, even though we cannot be with each other. And finally, I light a candle for any care or hope that you are not ready to share. May this light, kindled by all our hearts, be a torch you carry forward, knowing that we hold you in our hearts. Let us hold these in our hearts while we listen to Joey Dukes play his beautiful handpan.
I will first invite you to a moment of prayer and meditation, and afterwards, I believe we still have a first hymn to go to. Yes, I'm getting a nod. So we'll do that after this. I've asked for notes from anything that's been written in the chat box and from a few of the people here for our trial run in the room that I will incorporate into our pastoral prayer this morning. Spirit of love and life, we who are gathered here online or in this room, open ourselves to this moment of vulnerability, this moment as well of breathing in a spirit that may help comfort us or guide us. Deep breath and a centering of ourselves. Spirit of love and life, we who are gathered here come with the pluses and minuses, the trials and tribulations, the storms that beat impartially at all our doors. Our hearts go out to those who are grieving the loss of those that they miss. In particular to the Solomon family, who know that 1 year ago today they lost their beloved Dara. She loved UTC and all creatures. Our thoughts also turn to the joys, the wonders of newness all around us. We can celebrate the achievements of those in our families, in our circles. Our hearts leap with joy for Donna Rayburn and Mike Griffith, who are celebrating the high school graduations of their triplet grandchildren, Alex, Kaylee, and Joe. We celebrate with Bill, who has a joy that Canty had been gone for 5 days and is coming home today. We celebrate those who are celebrating their anniversaries, marking those important times in their lives. And in particular, Sue and Jim Null, who this weekend are celebrating, is it the 61st? Yeah, kind of, We are thankful for family. We are thankful for friends. We are thankful for notifications that should have been turned off. We are thankful to be connected and alive and well. We're thankful for our vaccines, for whatever health we have. And we are grateful to know that we are in community with one another. At this time, I invite you to please join in our first hymn of the morning, number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. Now, for those in the room, we ask that you do not sing, but you can wave your arms or move about as if dancing. And for those of you at home, the words will be on your screen.
worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wonder, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come.
The reading I've chosen this morning is from the late colleague, Reverend Rudy Nemser. I chose this in particular because for UUTC, June is an important time, and we are marking the founding of this congregation, and we have invited several, not everybody could make it, but several of the founding members of this congregation here today, and we will recognize them in honor of these founders and those who this reading fits. I bring you Rudy Nemser's Long Haul People. You find them in churches when you're lucky, other places too, though I mostly only know ecclesiastical varieties. Long haul people, upon whose shoulders and pocketbooks and casseroles and daylight nighttime hours, a church is built and maintained after the brass is tarnished and the cushions need restitching. They pay their pledges full and on time, even when the music's modern. Support each canvas, though the sermons aren't always short. Mow lawns, come to suppers, teach Sunday school when there's no one else, and they'll miss the service. Asked what they think of the minister, or plans for the kitchen renovation, or the choral anthem, or the Christmas pageant, or the color of the bathroom paint, they'll reply, individuals and fashions arrive and pass. The church, their church, will be here steady and hale for a long, long time. It will. For long haul people, bless a church with a very special blessing. At this point, I will read the names of founders. If you would like to raise your hand, or you feel confident to be mobile and come 10 feet away from me with my mask off, I am vaccinated. You're also welcome to come forward if you are in the room, and I know not all are this weekend. Margaret Pakis, Joanna Bliss, Lois Conley, Kevin Glenn, Donna Johnson, Leslie Kerr, Sally and Chris McMillan. Sure, there are folks who can't be with us for long. I'm sure there are founders who moved away for job and life challenges. There are folks who can give of themselves, their bursts of creativity, their generosity of spirit and pocketbook while things are going well. But long haul people, as I say, continue to give their love and dedication through whatever changes confront them. And as it said, individuals and fashions arrive and pass, but the church, our church, will be here and steady and strong for a long, long time. And so I'm calling upon you humble and steady folks, and I'm looking at the camera too, looking at you on your computer screen. any of you who are long haul or who aspire to join this beloved cohort, help me in my ministry of guiding people who are uncertain during this reopening season. For while we each react differently to stress and change, it is the example of long-haul people which helps anxious or on-the-fence individuals remember what this place is about and how we have strengths that we can draw from to make it through. Long-haul people know pain and sorrow and disappointment, but you can mentor us all about the long view, the leaning in to support and grow. Seeing the good that can come out of change. And this congregation has gone through change. I ask too, are you good dancers? Kind of little nods. Can we be called back into the joy of the back and forth, the little trip-ups, and the remembering to listen for the music, the lyrics of this place through the change and transformation? Sometimes you might be too modest, just too modest to be visible enough for those who really need to see you in order to learn their own way into this higher state of being themselves. And so I ask, let's loosen up. Let's be playful with one another. Thank you. And again, this is something I learned for people who don't like the abruptness of applause, but it's something that we can do in sending out our energy and feeling that warmth. Thank you, all of you, for being here. My sermon this morning is, we play with the next normal. The phrase you may have heard in the last time I preached, and some of what I'm trying to remind people. We don't have a new normal. We have a next normal. New normal implies that it's like done. All right, that's all we have to get used to. There we are in the new normal. No, we're in the next normal. And that precedes the next normal. And we don't even know if it's the penultimate normal, that we're second to the last normals of what we're going through right now. So our move ahead means we have to have a playful spirit, even a kind of a dance back and forth. And I know there are religious foundations for this. From Psychology Today, Bernard de Koven is the author of The Well-Played Game. In 2015 wrote an article of which I saved a couple of paragraphs. Play is a thing of the spirit. Playfulness is a spiritual practice. Toys and games are like prayer wheels, more or less. More like prayer wheels as tools to hold your mind on, to free your soul. Play is without purpose. It's how we engage with our bodies and our minds and each other. Play is for the fun of it, the joy of it. So play, he said, is being playful is what we do to stay in place and to stay open and responsive and light. How many of us have been weighed down? I like that he said play is to keep us light. We need to be ready to, he says, to engage or disengage as the moment dictates, like playing with a puppy or a small child, kind of a reverse martial art. It's a peaceful art, the art of peace itself. Playfulness is a practice that shapes our souls, it connects us, it's an act of belief in ourselves. the vehicle whose wheels are powered by our faith in life, bringing us to places of wonder and moments of joy. It's almost the last thing to leave us before we all leave together forever. That's a pretty profound insight in psychology and from a religious perspective. So, how do we play? One of the things that has been missing in this online for me is being able to hear people laugh, where I pause at a place to begin to feel that back and forth energy. Our Soul Matters packet this month, I hope a lot of people show up on the 20th, not just to worship at 9 or 11. I heard some people didn't hear. 9 or 11 on June 20th, right here, open to everyone. Well, after the 11 o'clock service, and around 12:30, I'll have the Soul Matters discussion. It's the last one because we'll take a break for summer until we restart. But this month's Soul Matters packet is on play. How are we a people of play? And it has an exercise in it. I want to bring this out because how do we do this? Well, one thing, your minister gets more energized having people in the room. And one of the questions, one of the spiritual practices in this month's packet asks, who doesn't love to tell and hear jokes? Go ahead, you can raise your hand. I hate jokes. I don't tell jokes. All right. What about playing together by having everyone hunt down and bring in and tell 2 of their best jokes? Start percolating on this. And think of it as the instructions for the spiritual practice say. Now be careful, this is trickier than it seems. You might already know your 2 ringers. Good for you. You could certainly leave it at that. But an alternative might be to spend a week asking your friends and family what their favorite jokes are and then bringing your 2 favorites to those from those choices. This way, you get to play at receiver and teller of the joke. That's the instruction. So I'm going to give you some jokes from my files. I went and I found my file of humor. It's interesting how many things aren't humorous anymore. Once upon a time they were thought to be. They're not now. But here's one. Here's a joke. Minister tells you a joke. What has about 100 legs and asks a lot of questions? You can say, what, Reverend Bob? 50 Unitarian Universalists. All right, so here's another one. And this is from the Soul Matters packet. Why couldn't the pony sing Happy Birthday? Why, Reverend Bob? Because she was a little horse. All right? Yeah, this is so good to have feedback in the room. I hope you're doing it on screen too. All right. Here's the last one. Why did the cookie go to the school nurse? Why? Because it felt crummy. All right. So, did you hear there are marshmallows being served around the fire ring tonight? You might want to bring a couple of jokes. I mean, fire rings in the evening is one of those great times in which a congregation can play with each other, can be buoyed up by others around, being in a playful spirit. We need one another, and we need one another's help. I'm going to read a little story. It's from Rabbi David Wolf. And it tells a story that we should all carry with us as we prepare for our next normal, as we think about the prayers that were lifted up this morning. What do we do? How are we a people? How are we together in this new time? So here's the rabbi's story. A parent and a child were walking along a road when they came across a large stone. Do you think if I use all of my strength, I can move the rock? The child asked. And the parent answered, if you use all your strength, I am sure you can do it. The child began to push on the rock, exerting as much strength as possible. The child pushed and pushed, then the rock did not move. Discouraged, the child said to the parent, you were wrong. I can't do it. The parent put out a hand onto the child's shoulder and said, no, my child, you didn't use all your strength. You didn't ask me for help. Getting back into a spirit of play, or even being around one another during a moment of all of this, all of what life has brought us over this past year, all of what we're carrying. We need each other. We need to be a people of play. We need that spirit to come out. One of the resources in the packet, you can click on the links in the PDF file and it will bring you to videos or blogs or TED Talks. And there's a TED Talk by Stuart Brown in there called Serious Play, and it's from 2008, and it's one of the key TED Talks that keeps being watched over and over again. He's talking about neoteny. I don't think I knew this word. Neoteny. It's the retention of immature qualities into adulthood. And what Stuart Brown is saying in that TED Talk is that it gives us a leg up into adaptability. With the immature play that we do with one another, we gain empathy and trust, problem solving. Stuart's the founder of the National Institute for Play. Yeah, there is such a thing. The National Institute for Play. That sounds so serious. But it is. Because when we are stuck and we forget that we should have retained some neoteny, some of that, of the immature quality, the play into our adulthood, we're in trouble. In a different click through, it goes to On Being with Krista Trippett, and Stuart Brown was on that show. Some of you may hear that on air NPR, but on this one he said, well, I think that we know a lot about all this through the wonderful laboratory rat. They make a particular squeak that's inaudible to humans, a signal that they want to play. They then wrestle with each other and pin each other, particularly during their juvenile times. They engage in what a number of investigators call hardwire, rough and tumble play. And the outcome of that is quite striking, because if the laboratory investigator stops the rats, no, specifically from playing, there are some dire consequences. They don't socialize normally. They can't recognize friend from foe. And there are other very specific kinds of outcomes, which, to Stuart's way of thinking, to some degree, match some human outcomes. Folks, how long has it been that you got into rough and tumble play with anybody? How long has it been that you've been out with people and just laugh? I mean, I spent the beginning part of this time of COVID-19 avoiding people. When is the time in which there will be less than 6 people in the entire grocery store? Oh no, there's somebody coming down my aisle. I'm going right up against the wall so they won't breathe on me. That was not play. So we need this. We need this from each other. And I need you to loosen up. I need you to get back to all this time away from one another, to realize what it's like to come back together, to laugh together, to hug, to have joy. I know there's some people who are still very scared, even with their vaccine. I totally respect that. And I know that there are some folks who haven't been vaccinated for medical reasons or other choices that they're making, at least at this time. And I think we still have to be safe. But I think we can play. I'd sure like to. Now, I can't say that I've ever been in a rough and tumble, pin somebody down ministry exercise. But, sometimes there are retreats, like a congregational retreat, and we haven't had one of those, and maybe we could do some games. And sometimes there are dances. And the ability to move around and watch others moving in and out with you. Yeah. I want you to remember the joy. And sometimes you see it when you see a child, a grandchild, your own child, a neighbor's child. Just some kid who's still remembering and hasn't put away their sense of play. Maybe we'll get back to remembering how we feed one another in our times of sorrow, in our times of joy, in our way of, getting back to liking being with people. For this is how we grow. For this is how we, as our principles say, encourage one another to spiritual growth. This is how we make one another remember the wholeness of our being, the wholeness of it all. A quote from Drew Leader says, "I realized that the way of play was a part of all religions. St. Paul proclaimed himself a fool for Christ. Jews honor the Sabbath, that time to stop working and maybe take pleasure in life. Hindus say that the universe was created as lila, divine play. After all, the omnipresent, eternal one needed something to do. Muslim Sufis teach through jokes about Mullah Nasruddin, a laughable sage fool. Native Americans celebrate body trickster figures. It says here, try attending a Cherokee booger event. Buddhists practice meditative games of breathing and attention and joyful presence. Zen teachers poke fun at dogma, as in Master Feng's pronouncement, the Buddha is a bull-headed jailkeeper and the patriarchs are horse-faced old maids. Didn't know that part? Didn't a previous minister teach you that? It seemed the whole world was playing with spirit in 1,000 delightful ways. And again, I thank Drew Leader for that quote and the people who passed it on to me. May you follow the best in the world's religions and do something that breaks you out, that brings you in, and encourages the spirit of play once again. May the Spirit be with you. And would you please come for the marshmallows? Thank you. Thank you for listening to this sermon and for being with us. This is the time of our, thank you. This is the time of our reminder that we not only have fun with one another, we also give away the best of what we have. And this is the time of our a reminder that generosity is part of what we do. We do not pass the baskets, but our ushers are showing you where they are in the room. And those of you online know that there are links on our website or ways to mail in. Whatever you give with love, we receive with great joy, and we say, thank you. Please join me now in our closing hymn, number 311, Let It Be a Dance. We'll be quiet here in the room, but that doesn't prevent us from moving to the song. And for those at home, the words will be on the screen. I'm going to put my mask on and move around in the aisles.
Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Let the dancing song be heard. Play the music, say the words, and fill the sky with sailing birds. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance, let it be a dance. Learn to follow, learn to lead. Feel the rhythm, feel the need. To reap the harvest, plant a seed. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Everybody turn and spin. Let your body learn to bend. And like a willow with the wind. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. A child is born, the old must die. A time for joy, a time to cry. Take it as it passes by. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Morning star comes out at night. Without the dark there is no light. If nothing's wrong then nothing's right. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let the sunshine, let it rain. Share the laughter, bear the pain. And round we go again. Let it be a dance.
We're a bit winded in this room, aren't we? Okay. Oh my goodness, what have I started? For those of you at home, you may not realize there's some people still coming back to their seats after dancing around. It's lovely. As I extinguish our flame of our chalice and our helper candle, I would like you to realize that each of you, in the way in which you play, in which you go about your life, and in the way in which you help bring respect and justice into the world, even through the jokes and the play and the changing of the attitudes, that you are important. The Dalai Lama said this, and I hope you smile. If you think you're too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito. With this, I extinguish our chalice. May you go forth into this world and be a playful pest. Blessings on all of you. For those of you in this room, I will invite you out the side exits. How does the steward do it? This way, please, to the egress. We will hang out and talk outside. Of course, if you need the restroom, go right ahead. For those of you at home, thank you for being with us.